You ever notice how some people only show up when they need something from you? They disappear when you're struggling, but suddenly remember your name when it benefits them. That's not love, that's convenience. We live in a world where loyalty is conditional, and too many of us confuse attention for affection. We pour into people who only come around to refill their own cups and then leave us empty. But here's the truth. The way someone treats you is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their character. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your energy, your kindness, or your peace just because they once called you friend. At some point, you have to stop chasing people who only remember you when their world gets dark and start walking with those who stay, even when there's no light. Because real love doesn't ask, "What can you do for me?" Real love says, "I'm here even when you have nothing to give." This isn't about becoming cold or guarded. It's about protecting your heart from being used as someone else's backup plan. It's about recognizing that not everyone who says they care actually does. So today we're going to talk about how to stop mistaking need for love and how to reclaim your power by setting boundaries that honor who you truly are. Recognizing the difference between genuine love and emotional convenience is one of the hardest lessons to learn, because when you care deeply about someone, your heart wants to believe that every gesture, every word, every moment means something real. But not everyone comes into your life with pure intentions. Some people come because it's easy, because you give them comfort, attention, validation, or resources they can't find anywhere else. They attach themselves to your light when their world feels dark, and the moment they feel whole again, they drift away. It's not that they love you, it's that they love what you can give them. The truth is, real love doesn't come and go when it's convenient. It doesn't vanish when things get difficult. Genuine love is consistent. It's the kind that shows up when you're not at your best, when you have nothing to offer but your presence. It stands beside you not because of what you provide, but because of who you are. When someone truly loves you, they see your humanity, not just your utility. They don't measure the relationship by what they gain. They value it by the connection itself. But emotional convenience, that's different. Emotional convenience is selective love. It's someone showing up only when it benefits them, when they need support, when they need to be heard, when they want validation. These people disappear the moment you need the same from them. And the danger in this dynamic is that it often disguises itself as care. They'll call you, text you, lean on you, and make you believe you're important. Until the moment they no longer need you, then silence. Distance, excuses, that inconsistency is your clue. It's not about you being unworthy. It's about them being unavailable for anything real. What keeps people trapped in these kinds of relationships is hope. Hope that maybe this time they'll mean what they say. Hope that your loyalty, your giving, your patience will eventually make them stay. But love isn't earned through endurance. It's not proven by how much pain you can tolerate. When you find yourself constantly giving, explaining, forgiving, and proving, you're not in a relationship. You're in an emotional transaction. You're paying for affection with your effort, and the return is never enough. To truly see the difference between real love and emotional convenience, you have to step back and observe patterns. Who checks on you when you're quiet? Who celebrates you when you're not useful to them? Who stays when you have nothing to offer? Real love reveals itself in consistency and in the small moments. The texts that say, "just thinking of you," the calls that come without an agenda, the presence that doesn't fade when life gets uncomfortable. Emotional convenience, on the other hand, always comes with conditions. It sounds like "I miss you" when they're lonely. It looks like interest when they're bored. It feels like connection, until you realize it's only temporary. You start reclaiming your power the moment you stop chasing conditional love, when you no longer tolerate being an option for people who should have chosen you without hesitation. The key is awareness. When you know the difference, you stop overgiving, you stop excusing, and you start seeing clearly who's in your life for the right reasons, because genuine love isn't about needing, it's about choosing. It's not about convenience, it's about commitment. It's not what they say when they want something, it's what they do when you have nothing to offer, recognizing that difference changes everything because it teaches you that love, the real kind, doesn't just show up when it's easy. It stays when it's hard. Stop confusing attention with real connection because attention is fleeting while connection is built. Attention feels good. It lights up something inside you, makes you feel seen, desired, acknowledged. But that feeling is temporary and often it's manipulative. Some people know exactly how to give just enough attention to keep you hooked. They'll compliment you, check in sporadically, or send messages when they sense you're pulling away. It's not genuine care, it's a way to maintain control. Attention can be a performance, words without substance, gestures without consistency. Real connection, on the other hand, is quiet but steady. It doesn't need to be loud to be real. It's not about how often someone reaches out, but about the intention behind it. There's a difference between someone who wants to know how you are and someone who just wants to know where they stand with you. The former seeks understanding, the latter seeks reassurance. Attention often feeds the ego. It says, "Look, they're still thinking about me." Connection feeds the soul. It says, "They see me even when I'm not performing." The reason many people get trapped in cycles of superficial relationships is because they mistake intensity for intimacy. They equate passion, constant communication, or emotional highs and lows with depth. But intensity fades. What's left after that determines whether it was ever a connection at all. People who thrive on attention will always find a way to pull you back when you try to create distance. They'll sense when you're moving on and suddenly become present again, offering just enough affection to reopen old wounds. That's not connection. It's dependency disguised as care. You can't build a meaningful bond on inconsistency. Real connection requires mutual vulnerability, effort, and respect. It's two people choosing to show up for each other consistently, even when life gets complicated or boring. The danger of confusing attention with connection is that it makes you settle for crumbs. You start convincing yourself that a text here, a compliment there, or a brief call means something deeper. You rationalize their behavior, telling yourself they're just busy when deep down you know you're not a priority. You become addicted to the dopamine hit of their attention and start craving it like a fix. This emotional dependency keeps you stuck, waiting for validation that never truly satisfies. It's exhausting because you're always wondering when the next dose of attention will come, instead of resting in the security of genuine connection. Real connection feels different. It's not about the chase, it's about peace. It doesn't make you anxious. It makes you grounded. You don't have to question your place because you feel it through consistent action. People who truly care don't make you guess their intentions. They don't disappear when things get hard. They don't only show affection when they need something from you. They show up when you need them too. They don't just listen to respond. They listen to understand. They don't just see what you offer. They value who you are. The more you value yourself, the easier it becomes to recognize the difference. When you're starved for validation, attention feels like oxygen. But once you build self-respect and emotional independence, you stop craving superficial approval. You begin to seek relationships that mirror your worth, not diminish it. You no longer settle for temporary attention because you understand that genuine connection requires effort, empathy, and truth. When someone values you, their presence speaks louder than their words. They don't have to perform for your attention because they're already invested in your presence. When you stop confusing attention with real connection, you free yourself from emotional games and open space for relationships that nourish you, not drain you. Protecting your peace by setting clear, unapologetic boundaries is not selfish, it's survival. Peace doesn't just happen. It's something you must intentionally guard, especially in a world full of people who will take as much as you allow. Boundaries are not walls to keep others out. They're filters that protect what's sacred within you. The truth is, people who benefit from your lack of boundaries will always make you feel guilty for having them. They'll call you distant, cold, or unkind when you stop letting them drain you. But the reality is, setting boundaries is one of the most loving things you can do for yourself and for others because it defines what kind of relationship you're willing to have. When you don't set boundaries, you invite chaos. You allow people to walk in and out of your life as they please, to take your time, your energy, and your emotions without accountability. You start feeling resentful, but that resentment isn't really toward them, it's toward yourself for allowing it. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, a piece of your peace is chipped away. Boundaries are how you protect your mental, emotional, and spiritual space. They say, "This is how I deserve to be treated," and they act as a line between respect and exploitation. People often think that having boundaries means being harsh or unkind, but it's the opposite. It's clarity, it's honesty, it's saying I value myself enough not to be overextended or undervalued. When you communicate boundaries clearly, you're not rejecting others. You're simply choosing self-respect over people pleasing. You're teaching others how to treat you by showing them what you will and will not accept. And the ones who truly care about you will understand and honor that. Those who don't were only interested in what they could take from you, not who you are. Protecting your peace also means learning to walk away without explaining yourself. Not everyone deserves access to your reasoning or your time. You don't owe anyone a long justification for why you're choosing yourself. The people who truly see your worth won't make you explain it. They'll respect your boundaries without questioning them. It's not your job to make people comfortable with your growth. The more you evolve, the more you'll outgrow situations and relationships that thrive on taking advantage of your kindness, and that's okay. Let them go without guilt. It's also important to remember that boundaries are not one-time declarations, they're ongoing practices. Every new season of your life requires new standards. As you heal, you'll realize that peace isn't found in avoiding conflict, but in choosing the right kind of conflict. Sometimes, standing up for your peace means having uncomfortable conversations, saying no when it disappoints someone, or walking away when it breaks your heart. But every time you choose yourself, you reinforce your worth. You remind yourself that you're not here to be everything for everyone. You're here to live authentically, not constantly perform emotional labor for others. Your peace is the foundation for everything else. Without it, your energy gets scattered, your focus fades, and your joy diminishes. Protecting it means saying no to drama, manipulation, and emotional freeloaders. It means not engaging in arguments that serve no purpose. It means knowing when to step back and let silence do the talking. You don't have to attend every battle you're invited to. Sometimes peace means walking away, choosing quiet over chaos, and refusing to let someone else's lack of self-awareness destroy your calm. Protecting your peace is an act of power. It's you declaring that your inner world matters more than anyone's opinion of you. And when you hold that line firmly, the right people won't be pushed away. They'll be drawn closer because your peace will teach them what real strength looks like. Valuing yourself enough to walk away from one-sided relationships is one of the most powerful and painful acts of self-respect you'll ever perform. It takes strength to admit that love alone isn't enough, that loyalty without reciprocity is not noble. It's self-neglect. Many people stay in one-sided relationships because they hope the other person will eventually change, that their giving will inspire gratitude or effort. But the truth is, if someone truly values you, they won't let you carry the entire weight of the connection alone. When it's always you initiating, you explaining, you forgiving, you fixing, you're not in a relationship, you're in an emotional performance. You're doing all the work while the other person simply receives. Walking away doesn't mean you didn't care, it means you cared about yourself too. It means you realized that love should not feel like begging. You should never have to convince someone to choose you, to respect you, or to stay. The moment you find yourself constantly proving your worth, you've already stepped into imbalance. One-sided relationships thrive on your willingness to settle for less. The other person becomes comfortable taking without giving because they know you'll stay no matter how empty you feel. That's not love. It's convenience for them and self-abandonment for you. There's a quiet kind of exhaustion that comes from loving someone who never meets you halfway. You start to feel invisible, your efforts go unnoticed, your needs go unheard, you begin shrinking yourself just to keep the peace, rationalizing their behavior, excusing their absence, and convincing yourself that maybe this is what love looks like. But deep down, you know it isn't. Real love isn't supposed to drain you, it's supposed to build you. It's supposed to make you feel seen, not small. Valuing yourself means understanding that your time, your energy, and your heart are sacred. You can't keep pouring into people who never pour back into you and expect to stay full. You deserve reciprocity, equal effort, mutual respect, shared investment. You deserve someone who checks on you without being reminded, who gives without keeping score, who shows up because they want to, not because they feel guilty. When you finally decide to walk away, you're not losing love. You're losing a pattern that kept you from experiencing the kind of love you actually deserve. Walking away is not an act of bitterness, it's an act of clarity. It's saying, I refuse to be the only one fighting for something that requires two. It's choosing peace over potential, reality over hope, and self-worth over fear. The hardest part is often the silence that follows. You'll miss the comfort of familiarity even if it was unhealthy, but with time that silence becomes healing. It becomes space to breathe, to heal, to rediscover who you are outside of someone else's neglect. The truth is, the moment you walk away from one-sided love, you make room for balanced love. You start attracting relationships where effort is mutual and appreciation is genuine. You no longer settle for almosts or maybes. You stop overextending yourself to earn love because you finally understand that the right person won't need to be convinced. They'll meet you where you are, not drain you to fill themselves. Walking away doesn't mean giving up. It means growing up. It's realizing that the most powerful thing you can do is not to fight for someone to stay, but to honor yourself enough to leave, because the love you deserve will never require you to beg, chase, or prove your value. It will recognize it immediately and rise to meet it, and when you reach that point of self-value, walking away stops feeling like loss, it feels like liberation. Choosing people who show up for you, not just those who need you, is about learning to value genuine presence over conditional loyalty. It's about understanding that consistency speaks louder than words, and that real relationships are built on reciprocity, not dependency. Too often, we confuse people's needs for love, thinking that because they reach out in their weakness, it must mean they care deeply. But there's a difference between someone who comes to you because they trust you and someone who comes to you because they know you'll fix things for them. The first is connection, the second is convenience. Choosing people who truly show up for you means recognizing who stands beside you when there's nothing for them to gain. When life is easy, everyone wants to be around. The world is full of fair-weather friends, people who celebrate your highs but vanish during your lows. They're present when you're useful, when your energy lifts them, when your success benefits them, but they disappear when you need support. True companionship reveals itself in silence, in hardship, in those moments when the world feels heavy and there's no spotlight to share. The ones who stay, who listen without judgment, who check in when they sense your distance, those are the people worth keeping. They don't show up because they need you, they show up because they care. The challenge is that many of us are conditioned to overextend ourselves for people who wouldn't do the same in return. We feel obligated to always be the strong one, the dependable one, the problem solver. But constantly being there for others who never reciprocate eventually drains your spirit. You begin to feel unseen, used, and emotionally depleted. The truth is, being needed isn't the same as being valued. You can be indispensable to someone and still not be respected. You can give everything you have and still be treated as optional. That's why discernment matters. You have to learn to notice who claps when you win and who stays when you lose. Choosing people who show up for you requires courage because it often means letting go of those who don't. It means accepting that not everyone you help will ever help you. It means facing the uncomfortable truth that some relationships only survive because you keep putting in the effort. But when you finally stop doing all the work, you see things clearly. Who was really there for you and who was only there for themselves. The people who show up are the ones who match your energy. They don't let you carry the emotional load alone. They make time even when they're busy. They listen without making it about themselves. They show up not because they have to, but because they want to. You deserve relationships that feel like mutual refuge, not emotional labor. Surround yourself with people who add to your peace, not your exhaustion. People who understand that love is a verb, it's action, not just sentiment. The right people don't just take from your strength, they help you rebuild when you're tired. They don't just come around when they're lonely, they come around because your presence matters to them. You never have to chase them, question their intentions, or beg for their time. Their consistency becomes their language of care. As you grow, your circle will get smaller, but it will become stronger. You'll stop tolerating half-present people and start cherishing the ones who truly invest in you. You'll realize that showing up is more than physical presence. It's emotional availability, empathy, reliability. It's standing beside each other through both calm and chaos. The people who show up are your tribe, your foundation, your real ones. They are the ones who remind you that love doesn't just ask to be received. It shows up again and again, even when it's not convenient. And when you learn to choose those people, your life becomes lighter, safer, and infinitely more meaningful.